The second leg of CON-A-THON 2018 was ReGeneration Who in Baltimore. This was the fourth of these annual events, and we've been attending since the first. I've done cosplay at each, this year as the War Doctor. As time permits, our usual convention strategy is to scope out the venue, take a preliminary reconnaissance through the vendor areas, taking note of particularly interesting items, then return there after attending a panel or two. This is always our intention, although depending on event scheduling and our usual tardiness, we will often have to run into a panel immediately and start a reconnaissance after. This time, however, schedules worked out and we had time to meander when we arrived. The first panel we made it to was the Crowded TARDIS cast, featuring all of the actors, from left to right: Janet Fielding, Mark Strickson, Sarah Sutton, Matthew Waterhouse, Nicola Bryant, and the Doctor himself, Peter Davison, who were all present, though not all of them had been on the show at the same time. As it turned out, Matthew Waterhouse was the Ezra Miller of this group, which is to say he had something to say on every question asked, even if it was addressed to another actor. They all took it in stride and responded in their own ways. Sarah Sutton was big sisterly as her character had been. Janet Fielding was sharply sarcastic. Nicola Bryant tended to, if not dismiss, then not give attention to Matthew's shenanigans. Mark Strickson was in a slow burn exasperation and tried to carry on, and Peter Davison was his usual affable, avuncular, absent-minded professorly self. All in all, it was as entertaining as any episode of the series they were in. Our second run through the vendor area was not as productive as in the past. I have to say that the convention powers that be have continued to make some odd choices regarding vendor selection. While there have been, up to this point, celebrity guests in attendance from the Big Finish production company, there was no exclusive table for them and their wares this year. Actors and writers from productions who were in attendance had brought some samples that featured their work, but Big Finish themselves were, not to put too fine a point on it, excluded. Meanwhile, I recall at least 3 different chainmail specialized vendors that were there, which barely have anything to do with the subject of the convention. I find it more than a little confusing and annoying as well. What more than made up for the annoyance with the vendors was the second panel, arguably the highlight of the weekend, the Peter Capaldi panel. Whatever differences of opinion any fans have with his tenure on the show, the man himself, I believe, is quite justifiably universally beloved. He is warm, friendly, intelligent, hilarious, multi-talented, and of all the actors to have played the Doctor, possibly the most appreciative of the fans, as he has been one as well for most of his life. That being said, and without giving a play-by-play, his panel was a delight. We gave, or attempted to give, the vendor area one last go. However, due to my work schedule and the scheduling of the Peter Capaldi photo op almost immediately after his panel, made the going tougher than seemed worthwhile. Our friends, the Wraiths, who introduced us to ReGeneration Who in the first place, I had intended to interview for this video, but did not have the time. However, if you look across the atrium at the Capaldi queue, you can see them right there in the middle. Now look closer. A little closer. No. Not them. To the left. There you are. Steve is waving. Leslie's smiling. And Andrew's a teenager, cosplaying as the Fourth Doctor. The cosplay at this convention is especially fun, actually. Since it is a more focused event, there tend to be multiples of the same characters wandering about, and my case was no exception. I did get to compare notes with this gentleman on the War Doctor costumes we had each constructed or compiled. But after this specific and personal photo op, it was time to go. I hope you've enjoyed this recap of ReGeneration Who 2018. If so, please take the opportunity to like, comment, subscribe, and share using the handy buttons and links that YouTube provides. And don't forget to check out the next installment of my CON-A-THON adventures. Thanks for your time. Stop back again.